he'd come back in with a petrol can now with no lid on it and a lighter. But I didn't believe that because I thought, it's your uncle, isn't it? He's still going to have the thing in his... He's not going to do nothing. He started pouring petrol over his own head. Oh, I'm going to take you all with me. So therefore, I've jumped up, got in a tussle with him. He's quite a strong guy, my uncle. And I don't know when they're possessed, or someone is possessed, you know when they say they get the strength of like a bear? Oh my God, man. We both slipped and I fell on him. And then it was like, I don't know if it was a bit of UFC going on. It was like, I'm fighting for my life. During all of that, he's half smiled and lit lighting the lighter like that. And I thought, this man's crazy, he's smiling.
Did time almost slow down for you at that point?
It was at a pause. I swear it happened so fast that it seemed longer. And then all I remember, I see him smiling, and I see the third time, that, and then boom, like backdraft the movie.
Terry, welcome to the show.
George, thank you for having me.
Mate, first of all, thank you so much for driving all the way down from Portsmouth today. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. It's always nice coming back to London now and again.
So, Terry, where did it start for you, and how did you end up being in a situation where you got doused by fire?
So in 2007, I sold my property in London to move down to Devon because my mum had already moved down there. She moved to Brixham, so I found a place in Paignton that I wanted. And at the time, I just, probably prior to that, met my new girlfriend, who also was up for moving away. So once I sold my house, I found a house that wasn't too far from my mum down there. Just fancied a change, just fancied living by the sea. Being a London boy all my life, I just fancied a bit of jet skiing, maybe like just whatever, and just being around sea life for a change, you know. You know, we all dream of the seaside because we live in the big smoke. So I went down there, and then my uncle had moved there, my mum's brother, probably a month or two before I moved there. So we basically moved there at the same sort of time, in different towns, but very close. So started a new life there on the intent of being by the sea. And I was just doing things with my uncle like we would, because I was quite close to him when I was young anyway, but we'd missed a lot of years together, so there was a bit of a gap, because he moved from Hillingdon down there and I moved from Middlesex, both from Middlesex, but we both moved down there at different times. And what kind of led up to it was, there was a lot of scenarios that happened that, we'd go sea fishing, me and my uncle, and the first things that I see before any of this happened, like he'd have a little black book in his pocket with a little registrations number in it, and we'd just be sitting there having a laugh, and he'd say, hey, you don't know whose registrations they are from London, they're following me.
Your uncle would be saying
My uncle would be saying that to me, yeah, while we'd be having a laugh, fishing about whatever, we're going to start this building firm, landscaping, because that's what he did. I was a builder, he was a landscaper. So we'd talk about that. And then just little things that come out, and like the signs that you don't see now. So I'm going back to this because these are all the little things that I wish I see at the time. And at this particular time, he said, yeah, do you recognise these registration numbers? I went, nah. And then I said, why would be anyone following you from London?
Yeah, what have you done?
Yeah, have you ever done anything in your life? He's like, no, it's just... and I know my uncle's life, it's been a straight life. There's nothing like... Unless there was something dark, a secret I didn't know about. Yeah. So I didn't really pick up on it at first. And there was a lot of occasions. And then another occasion he came around and said, I think someone's broken my house and gone through all my paperwork. I said, for what, Vince? What paperwork are they going to go through? He said, well, they're just moving things about, some of my solicitor's reports. Because the ironic thing was, my uncle was burnt.
Was he?
Years ago, yeah. Was he? And we were there for him.
Bad, or?
Quite bad. He was a roofer. So he went up a ladder, fell off the ladder with a bitumen. Oh. Remember when they used to carry it up in buckets?
Yeah, what, this like almost like hot liquid?
Hot liquid. Mm. So it done all his chest, his face a bit, and it done his hands. Mm. So we used to go and visit him in hospital when he was in the gloves, and like we'd take him up there, take him out for a sneaky cigarette, whatever. And so there was loads of little scenarios that you just thought like, and in the end, it was getting a bit like, one day, I'll tell you the thing what done it for me. We were sitting there, me, my missus, and my old man was up there, and my house was reverse level in Devon. So you'd pull up on my drive, the garage, and the kitchen was on that level, bedrooms up, and then you go down to the living room, right?
Yeah.
So you can go outside, down the steps and that, and then go to through my back gate to my sliding doors.
All right.
I had 2 sets of patio doors, whatever. And what done it for me was, we were sitting there watching a movie, and Tash jumped out of her skin. And I looked out, and he's looking through the window. I thought it was a joke. He's like that, like through the window. But it did frighten the shit out of us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're allowed to swear.
No, that's right.
Oh, and from that day, she used to get a bit paranoid. She said, say about it. So I sort of dropped him out a little bit. I thought, I'm not going to keep like inviting him over and all that. So we didn't invite him over for about 3 weeks. This was like the final thing. There was lots of little things, but I'm just giving you examples. Otherwise it'd be here forever. And he's... so we didn't have him round for a bit. And then one Sunday he turned up in a bit of a bad way. And he's... I think it was like 14th October or something like that. I don't even have the right date now, but in 2007. And he came in, and I was reading an auto trade because I'm still looking to get a little pickup truck or whatever, because I've still got this in mind about this little company, the business, because he's doing nothing. And even though like we didn't really have him over and that, he's still my uncle, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? I just thought he's just doing some weird things at the time.
And this was your mum's...
My mum's brother.
Mum's brother.
Yeah.
Did she ever see any warning signs or?
Not really. Afterwards, obviously, she talked about younger days when he was at school and he got stabbed in the heart and nearly died because he was a bit of a troublemaker. Because he was a grafter, you know, a stocky geezer. Like he was just normal like us.
I
don't know how life took that on him in the end. You know what I mean? But I think behind the scenes, his missus and they all kind of on his side, closest to him. Immediate people in his house knew that he was on medication for paranoia.
Right.
You see what I mean? We didn't know none of that because no one got told. So we're just living a normal life alongside of him. But all the paranoid delusions were there, but we just didn't pick up on it.
And what is was that an illness, the paranoia delusions?
Yeah, he became ill with it.
Like it's not like a schizophrenia or anything like that.
Well, he got diagnosed in the end with paranoid schizophrenia. So,
right, paranoid, right, okay.
So we would do weird things. Like one day we'd ask me, where's Vincent? This is at a time when I weren't talking, after he'd done the thing at the back door and we thought it was a bit strange. I didn't really ring him too much. So then at one point after that, he said, he's disappeared to Spain for a couple of days. Why? He needs to clear his head. Did he go? But nobody know. No, we didn't even care. No one asked. You know what I mean? Just think, all right, just get on with it. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of weird things that was never told to us. And then, anyway, this one Sunday he's come up. We ain't spoke to him now for probably this thing where he's disappeared to Spain. All this gone on probably a month or 6 weeks. Not spoke to him, but not had him round or whatever. And he's come round and he looked a bit down. Just come round for a cup of tea. All right. And I was sitting there with an auto trader looking at the van. I was showing him this van. He's going, oh yeah, we should still do that and whatnot. And I said, yeah, I'm still up for it, you know. And he was just coming out. Where's them pins from on the side from Essex? Because my cousin was from Essex, his previous relationship. He said, why do you lot keep getting things from Essex? I said, no, it's just some mad things that we ordered, like with hammer, whatever they were, special, like customised pens from Essex sent in at the envelope, just sitting in the envelope, like a padded envelope. And that day he picked up a few things and then she went out and walked the dogs. I said, Vince, you're not going to keep able to come round and doing things like this. You're acting weird, mate.
Making people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're making everyone feel uncomfortable. I don't know, why don't you go and get some help or whatever it is that you need, something's going on here. And he said, yeah, no, I will, you're right, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave you in peace and all that. And I went, all right, because we were Mrs. cooking a Sunday roast. I'm sitting there, I'm about to go and look at a van before the roast is ready. And then he said, right, I'll go out, I've got last week's. So he said he's going to go out to get last week's auto trader from the car. So we looked at each other and just rolled our eyes. So, all right, Vince, do it. I'm going to shut the door because of the dog, because we had a husky at the time. So I said, all right. So he's gone out. We've looked at each other at this point. This is when we rolled our eyes and just thought, oh, thank God he's going. Just take this auto trader and get rid of him. He's come back in with a petrol can now with no lid on it and a lighter. And he's gone, right, I want fucking answers to what's going on here. He's lost it. His eyes are like, when they say a man's eye's gone or someone's eyes are gone, you've never seen a man like, he came in like possessed.
Yeah.
It was like, like, I can't explain what I see. And then but I didn't believe that because I thought, it's your uncle, isn't it? He's still going to have the thing in he's not going to do nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought so. It's all a bit surreal as well at the same time.
100%. So when you're sitting there and you think it's all like that surreal, you don't really expect anything more from it. He's looking for these answers. So now he's asking more about these pens. He's asking more about the missus, why are you always on the phone when I'm here and all that? And like, but there's no answers to these things. And I said, there's no answers to what you're asking. This is just madness.
Yeah. What are you trying to get from this, essentially?
Yeah, what you're trying to get from it. You know, none of this makes sense, what you're talking about. It's all a load of bullshit, really.
Yeah.
And he said, it's just so I'm going to get answers. And then he started pouring petrol over his own head. Oh, I'm going to take you all with me. I'm going to get the answers I want today and all that. And I'm looking at him in amazement now. I'm literally sitting at my table with an auto truck. Any other time, I know it sounds mad and cliche, but if I was eating my dinner, do you know, like, I don't know if to be threatened your life and to be armed with nothing but a bloody auto trade. What am I do? Clip him round the head with it. You know, like, I know it sounds stupid, but so what happened was he pulled it over his own head, saying I'm looking for the effing answers and all that. And then the missus has gone to go out the integral garage door with the dog. I'm going to take the dog out. He said, you ain't effing going anywhere. You're part of this as well. And he took his eye off me. I'm sorry, before he done that, let me take it back. It's been a while since I told this story, but when he pulled it over his own head and I'm telling him, there's no answers here, this is all bullshit, he splashed it across the table towards me, so then it sort of hit the table more so, but splashed up me slightly, yeah? And then at that point, she's gone to let the dog out, and he said, you ain't fucking going anywhere.
How old were you around this?
28, I think I was then.
28?
Yeah, in 2007, 28 then. And my missus was like 7-8 years younger than me.
Right. Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, so she was a bit younger. And bear in mind, she never liked him from all the lead up to that, the paranoia of him, and always said, like, I don't trust him. Now we're in this position now.
Yeah, her instinct was right.
Her instinct was right. It's all come to fruition in this moment. So he's gone for her now, because I don't know what made him take his eyes off of me, and he's gone for her. But a minute then, my protective instincts kicked in. I've jumped up, grabbed him before he's gone anywhere, and I didn't see what she was doing at the time, and then we're in a rustle now. Do you know what I mean? And in the end, I think I've hit him about 3 times. Do you know what I mean? I've had to, because he's trying to pull me down. The floor's all slippery because there's wooden flooring. There's petrol being poured over.
So you're like wrestling amongst all this petrol on the floor, like.
Yeah, it's like slippery, and he's trying to pull me down. Obviously, because whatever his intent was, it's now I've disturbed what he was about to do, whatever. Because I could have just, I had double doors to my left here, and when he went, I could have literally jumped that balcony, and got, like fight or flight.
100%.
I could have been the biggest, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, bottle job in the world. Just I'm getting out of here.
But the thing is, if it was just yourself, that it might have been a different situation, but you're clearly trying to look after or protect someone else.
Exactly, and that's all I've ever known. I've only ever had a protective part of me. Do you know? I can't just. I'd more face something head on than I would run.
Right.
So therefore, I've jumped up, got in a tussle with him. And he's quite a strong guy, my uncle. And I don't know when they're possessed or someone is possessed. You know when they say they get the strength of like a bear? Oh my God, man. Like when someone's really pulling you down.
Felt it.
Yeah, and I was just trying to make sure she got out. So then it ended up a bit of a fight. Not lucky enough, but we both slipped and I fell on him. And then it was like, I don't know if it was a bit of UFC going on. It was like, I'm fighting for my life.
Yeah, I bet you.
So I can't tell you exactly what I did. I know all my hands busted from the day one of whatever happened in that kitchen. But I was in a frenzy myself because he was so powerful. Like at that time, I had to be stronger. And then during all of that, he's half smiled and lighting the lighter like that. And I thought, this man's crazy, smiling.
Did time almost slow down for you at that point?
It was at a pause. I swear it happened so fast that it seemed longer. And then all I remember, I see him smiling, and I see the third time and then boom, like backdraft the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, and it literally like felt like it blew me away. And then I was trying. All I could see.
What did it do to you?
Just like,
like just hit you, like
just hit the heat. Yeah, just like a fireball. Like
what it was like.
Yeah, like it was crazy how like. You know when you've seen petrol burn before, like someone pour it over a bonfire or whatnot.
Yeah.
And it does some mad things, but where we was in an enclosed kitchen and my door was open, I guess the slidey door, because it wasn't a balcony, it was one of them ones with just a railing, but you had sliding doors.
Right.
And with that cold air and the draft, it was like, it lit up, and it was like, that's all I can explain, like getting hit by Olympic-sized fireball. Yeah. So I felt like all my hair and all that had gone instantly.
Unbelievable.
No, and at that point, that the feeling of that, you can't, it's like a backdraft of a bomb. And then all I could see through the smoke and fire was the ray of light coming through this one door that was open. That was now, because I'm over here now on the table, and I could just see a ray of light coming between me and him. Well, not between us, because we're still sort of like, he's still trying to drag me in, and I'm trying to go towards the light. So now I've grabbed him and I'm trying to drag him with me, because he's trying to drag me back. I'm trying to drag him with me now, because now we're on fire. Do you know what I mean? Now your body's like, run. You know what I mean? So I tried dragging him. I couldn't get anything. I think I just kicked back of whatever he had hold of me, or it melted, because I think I had shell suit bottoms on. Yeah, I did. I had Adidas shell suit bottoms on. So where he didn't have any grip, he had me by the legs. I've jumped the balcony now, and I'm on the first floor, straight onto my decking, rolled while I'm on fire, and I've ripped my hoodie off. So now I'm sitting with the waistband and my tracksuit bottoms left, my boxer shorts, my top I've ripped off, my trainers and socks, all my laces were burnt.
So essentially, anything that you didn't get off your body was pretty much stuck to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what happened?
Yeah, pretty much. Yes and no, because the actual, you'd think a lot of that, like the waistband was definitely like stuck to my shorts, because they saved me really. So it was,
okay.
You see what I mean? But the actual shells, it was like, burnt away. Like, it was that intense. And then I ran back through the house from downstairs through my living room door, back up through the house, because now I'm looking for the missus.
Your adrenaline must have been absolutely pumping.
Oh, it's pumping, yeah, because I've just seen the biggest fight of my life, and I had to save my life and hers. I've come through the front door now, because I could see the kitchen. It's intense. I've come through the front door.
Because what, the whole place is like burnt up, on fire now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the whole kitchen.
The whole kitchen, because he shut the door when he came in.
Right.
He's behind that door now, isn't he? So that being said, I could hear the fire crackling and all that. I've come round to the front. I see the garage door open, so I know someone's got out. I don't know if it's her or it's him. So now I'm still thinking, I still got to have a fight here or whatever. Do you know? I don't know what's going on. And I've run in the neighbour's house because the door's open, and then my missus is like, "What the fuck did he just do?" And she said, "Look at you." And I went in the mirror. I said, "I need some water on my face," and my hair had gone. So
Had it?
Yeah, basically like I shaved my head, and it like my eyebrows, eyelashes, everything had gone. Do you know what I mean? And then I splashed water on my face, but I remembered that we still had our thing in the oven, like she was still cooking the Sunday roast. So I said, "We need to turn the gas off." And the next door neighbour was a single woman with kids. I said, "You will need to get out of the house," because I'm thinking now that's going to blow up.
Yeah, 100%.
100% gas. So
never mind yourself anyway.
Exactly, yeah. I'm still trying to save everyone else.
Yeah.
And I've come out of there. The whole street's come out. The neighbour, I've told him, he's said, "I'll turn the gas off from outside." Lucky enough, they've done that. I've sat on a step outside. He still ain't come out, my uncle. Still ain't come out of the fire, right? So I'm sitting there on the curb. A nurse, one of our neighbours, because the whole neighbour's house, because this house is bellowing in smoke now. It's ridiculous, like the intensity of this fire. She's come over. Someone's put cold towels on me, wet towels, like, because obviously I must have been quite badly burnt. And then my body started going into shock, and it was like a scene. I don't know if you've ever seen the film RoboCop. It's like our era, isn't it? When he sits there and all the skin cut.
Yeah, it starts dripping off.
Starts dripping, so that it was dripping off my hands, and dripping off my ears, and then I was like, obviously anxiety, adrenaline.
Yeah,
like my body was convulsing.
Is that what you're meant to do? Put cold water over.
I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not.
It makes sense, but
she was a nurse, yeah. So I guess cold
would help,
or wet, would help stop it because it internally keeps continuing to burn.
Right, is that what happens?
Yeah,
right.
So petrol keeps burning or acid.
It's just funny how it all kicked in, all of that shaking as soon as they put the cold on you, and
I think that may would have happened anyway.
Right.
I think because the adrenaline wears off.
Oh, okay. Is that what
I'm running on adrenaline now, and so when the adrenaline's kicked off, now all the injuries have kicked in.
Right.
So then, like this whole street, now all of a sudden the police, the fire engines and the police is there, ambulance. They've took me straight into an ambulance, and before I could even say, they've injected me straight away with morphine, put me in a euphoric state, because I guess I was in a bad way. I just didn't realise it. And then I remember my partner coming in. She was getting took off by the police, Like she was in a boiler suit or something, and they took like all her clothes off. They wanted every evidence, and then I've got took off from there. She's had to go off with the police. I've had to go off in an ambulance.
Incredible.
So I've gone to Torquay Hospital. Yeah. So from that point, that's what I remember there. And then
what happened with the uncle?
He died in the fire.
Did he die in the fire?
Yeah,
He never came out.
He never came out. No, he never made it out. So hence on that side of it, from there I went to Torquay Hospital first, and then I was in an incubator. It was really weird. Like there's all rush, there's nurses rushing around me and all that. And I remember my dad there, and I said to him, "I ain't gonna make it," because I could feel myself seeing the light, if you know what I mean. Because I felt the weirdest I've ever felt.
What's the incubator for? Is that just to protect you? Because you're in this fragile state. Is it to protect you from
Open wounds?
the elements, I suppose.
I think so, yeah. Because I was so open, like my face, like well, you imagine what I remember, the skin coming off. So I must have basically melted.
Yeah.
In certain ways.
And was all the burns throughout most of your body?
I had 48% burns.
48% burns.
Yeah, 48% burns, which, in fairness, it was quite a lot of it. Yeah, because my legs were burnt to a degree, but most impact was from the waist, chest up.
Right.
Because I think where the heat was, where it maybe got me under the thing.
Just so happens that's where it was.
Yeah, it just so happened that was the majority of it. And then they had me in like some incubator, rushing me around the hospital. It was like a tent over the bed on wheels, basically. And that's when I thought, I ain't going to make it. I said to my old man, "Tell me kids I love them and all that." He said, "No, you're going to be all right." I said, "Nah, I'm not." I just didn't feel right then. That's when I felt like, and I kept seeing that light. People say about it, but it's really weird because I kept drifting to it. I didn't want to, but it kept drawing me in. It was like
you could see it.
I could see it. It was a furic.
And that same light that you saw in the kitchen is the same light you're...
No, different. The rare light was like a heavenly light, if we call it that.
Right.
And then the actual light is pure white, like a white as this table. Like it's a white that like if you rub your eyes too much, it goes really white.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's a thing you draw to it like a fly. It's weird, and you keep trying not to. So I think that's maybe the closest to death I remember coming, because I felt that's when my body has given up.
So what was it like in hospital from there on after? Were you conscious for much of all of this, or?
Well, no, from that point of it, I was. So from there, I was morphined up, obviously. So these are vivid memories now, because I only remember so much. I remember that bit. And from there, they put more morphine in me, they were going to airlift me to Bristol Frenchay, because I needed to go to a burns unit now.
Right.
A specialist burns unit. And they put me in an ambulance at full speed. It was the only way to get me there. So they took me there via that. I don't really remember that. I don't remember arriving at the hospital. I don't remember being coming into ICU. But I do remember sitting in my bed there, and I was laughing and joking with everyone, because now I'm swollen up. Apparently my head was like...
Is that what happened?
Yeah, like the Goonies, and my head was like
really
massive. Yeah, I couldn't
what's
see.
His name?
Chunk. I love you, Chunk. He's a.
What? So you ended up swelling from it, from all the burns?
Yeah, all the water retention of the burns.
Oh.
Yeah. So and.
What happens? Is it all blister?
Yeah, I think my head was like they reckon my head was 10 times its size, and all these people are upset. So all my friends and that are coming up to see me from London and whatever else, and I'm laughing and joking, and the people still tell me now. They said, "Man, I don't know how you was laughing and joking." Like.
Well, you were probably high off the...
I was high as a kite, exactly, yeah. I weren't even compos mentis at that point, but...
I remember having surgery myself once, and they gave me morphine. I kept pressing the button all the time to try and...
Have another go.
Yeah.
But these even people say it, like some friends still say it. Even just recently I had a conversation with someone about it, and they said, "I can't believe how you would still make other people laugh while you were sitting in that state. We were looking at you and thought, he ain't making that. His head's 10 times the size." A lot of people come and see me and walk past me in the room because they didn't even know.
Couldn't even recognise you.
No, because I was like puffed out, and I was like, "Matt," they said, "I can't believe how big you got." That's
incredible.
Mad how burns do that to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. And then from that, that's kind of, so I remember all that in the big people coming in the beginning.
And were you all bandaged up then as well, or were you?
Yeah, I looked like the Invisible Man. They said all I had was but my eyes were closed through swelling anyway, so I couldn't see anyone. And I didn't have the tracheostomy and all that in them, but they said I was like dressed up like the Invisible Man, but wrapped and massive. I looked about 24 stone, they said. And then from there, I don't know where it went downhill, if you know what I mean. I think I got a few superbugs in, so I went downhill. And then I kind of remember a couple of times they woke me up, or did they wake me up, or I just woke up. I remember going down to theatre a couple of times, seeing theatre lights, and because they would take me down, scrub all the burns off my skin grafts. Then they took skin grafts off my legs to close my wounds.
So you was like in and out of consciousness, essentially. Like it must have been quite a big blur to you, and what was going on. Yeah,
100%. It was like I only remember from this point onwards all little bits. Like there was a point where they said you don't remember that, but I do remember it. I don't know what happened, whether they dropped me off the bed or whatever. I had a catheter, one for the front and one for the back. They were moving me during an operation, whether they were doing the scrubbing again, because when they done the skin grafts, I think they had to keep scrubbing it, and you had to be unconscious for it because the pain is supposed to be unbelievable. And obviously they grafted my neck, put a tracheostomy in, and then so I couldn't talk when I was conscious. But I remember them dropping me because the hospital was a real terrible hospital. Like at one point they had curtains on my bed rather than bed sheets because they didn't have enough clean. I think it turned out it was the third worst hospital in the UK. Don't quote me on it, but third or fourth for superbugs.
That's the last place you want to be going to when you're
open wounds like me, 48% open, because I caught every freaking superbug there was. I got them all. So when they dropped me off the bed basically, and the catheter erupted my main artery in my arse. So I was bleeding out in my bed, and I remember sitting there and I couldn't talk. And they say, you don't remember it. I do remember it. But how would I know? And they had to rush me down and stitch up a main artery in my bum, like over. I don't know how have you come to that. Do you know what I mean? The hospital is mad. It's shut down now. We went back to film it, and it's all been knocked down. They built a new super one.
Why wouldn't you have remembered that? By the way, were they trying to say you was unconscious when it was all happening?
Yeah, because I was in a drug-induced coma, but I do remember a lot of things, and that was like so. There's a lot of things like that I don't know if it's meant to go wrong or it just went wrong. Do you know what I mean? There's some funnier stories as well, but these are the things early on. And then I was in a full-on drug-induced coma then. And so I don't remember nothing from there onwards. So from there onwards, I had, until they started waking me up a few times in my bed for physio, because they've got to keep me moving so that I don't seize up. Then...
When you say seize up, is that the skin going tight?
I think the skin tight, and I think just generally if you're laid up, you need to, because otherwise blood clots and stuff. Because I had to have special socks in bed. And, because you're not moving. And then, so from that, fast forward from that point, they woke me up for a physio session, and I'd had a vivid dream that I'd knocked for them last night, my family. And they said to me, like, and they just woke me up the next day, first time out of my coma, woke me up. And I think they'd read my final rites 1 or 2 days before that. So they've woke me up out of the coma. I think they've got to test you mentally. I don't actually know why they wake you up or what the reason is. And do it.
When you say your final rites, were they going to, like, were they going to, like, put you down, like?
Yeah, I've got to turn all the machines on.
Were they so you was on all life support, essentially?
Yeah, so where I caught MRSA, C. diff, septicemia, and... fluid in my lungs.
Right.
I think that was the one that was doing me the most, because through the tracheostomy they was trying to constantly suck all the fluid out of my lungs.
Yeah.
Pneumonia, basically. And they was all killing me. So that, because I caught everything, some people just catch one thing and it kills them. MRSA was the biggest killer at that time, let alone all the other things that I had. And so the day or two before they woke me up, they'd all held in the chapel of rest a service for me, because all the machines now, all my with the blood one, not MRS, septicemia, all my organs failed. So my kidneys, liver, everything had failed. So I was on a dialysis. I had like every machine that keeps you alive was keeping me alive. So there was nothing they could do for me no more. It's like, well, listen,
You're either, it's either life or death at this point.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's basically, let's say goodbye to him now. And everyone signed the book in a chapel arrest. They said it was like a celebrity had died, like on his way out, because like, all my friends made an effort to come up from London, family, so it was quite a lot of people there. And yeah, that was the first. So that when they woke me up, so basically I'm gone now. They've held the service for me and all that, the priest. But for some reason, they've woke me up. I'm still hanging in there, so they haven't turned it all off yet. But when they did wake me up, my family's around me, and I said, I knocked for you lot last night. And I was like, no, you didn't. You haven't left your bed. You don't even know what's been happening to you. Like, you shouldn't even be awake now, because they're going to turn the machines off. And I said, yeah, I did. And they said, go on, whereabouts? Where's our room then? I said, well, I come out of here, do a right, do a left, go down the corridor, and it's the third door on the left. And all their jaws dropped. I got it wrong by one door. So if people don't say you don't leave your body, isn't that mad? Because I'm pretty sure I left my body.
You convinced you was
100.
like out.
How could I know?
Yeah.
How could I know? So that was the first time I remember coming out of the coma. Then I don't know which way round this was now, because there was a second time now where I went downhill again, badly, and the pneumonia was getting me now more so than anything else, because they were constantly, when they did wake me up, I remember down the tracheostomy was this big straw hoovering out, because I can't talk as well. When I wake up, I can't talk because I've got a tracheostomy, so I think I've lost my voice and everything through the burns, because now I've got to point to letters and
try and communicate.
But my hands are in splints because they're burnt, and they've got them in splints so that they don't see, so they're on plastic splints and bandaged. So you try and point to an A, B, C when you're trying to make a conversation. That was frustrating as hell. But I thought my voice box was all burnt away because I didn't even know what a tracheostomy was.
And what was that? And what is that, like a tube?
It's a tube they cut into your throat here on the outside.
Oh, they put it down here.
Go down your airwave, yeah.
To breathe.
To breathe. And obviously every time they were putting this big thing down it, sucking all these fluids out of my lungs. That's the pneumonia. That's the one that nearly got me. So second time on that now, apart from me tripping every day as well, that they're sending me down to the basement where they give me morphine. Every night the family left, I remember like there'd be the same old trip or the same dream on morphine, that the nurses would all start wheeling my bed into a lift, and I go down to the basement where there's a raving, all teddy bears partying, DJing, and giving me slush puppy parties. And I was like, I couldn't handle it. Yeah, every night I was like, oh, don't do it again. Everyone go, no, what parties? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it might have been real for you,
It could be real. It could be more to this world than we know. If it was, then I want to do it once more. But at the time, I didn't want to do it no more because it was happening every night. And then I had another premonition after that, I think. I think this is the second time when they couldn't do nothing for me. The priest came in, and my sister basically told him to fuck off. He said, you ain't taking him and all that, because he was blessing my body again for the second time. They were going to hold a final service, and they were going to turn, because the pneumonia had really got bad now. Real bad.
They were still contemplating about turning off your life support.
Yeah, because I could no longer breathe on my own now. So by all the other machines, trying to handle all of that, the septicemia and everything, now I can't breathe on my own. So that particular night, one surgeon, an army surgeon, came in and said, try one thing tonight or over the next how many hours, turn him on his front, let him use the back of his lungs to breathe, because I couldn't no longer use my lungs. That's what's essentially saved my life, because where he turned me over and I used the biggest part of your lungs in your back part, yeah, that's what made me survive, really. That's why I'm still here today.
Is that what they uncovered in the end?
Well, his choice of doing that is what, otherwise they'd have turned the machines off for the second time and I'd have been gone. So twice I was basically gone. Next day after that, though, I've had my next out-of-body experience, because now I've driven a white Ferrari. I've left my bed, got out the front in the half circle from this hospital I've never been in. I came through a back door unconscious. I've driven down the road to a cafe with all black railings in this white Ferrari with a black roof, convertible it was. And my nan and granddad sitting there, who passed well before me. And they're all dressed in white, all smiling. It was like so surreal, or so real, that they said, my granddad, being a Cockney, he said, it's not your time yet, boy. And we're sitting there, and I really I was talking to them, and it was just so real. Drove back, walked back to my apartment, parked this car up, this Ferrari, parked it up, walked back to my bed. And everyone was like, nah, you don't. When I told them again the next day, like, this is what happened, they went, yeah, it's just the drugs, isn't it? It's just because his nan and granddad's been dead years. There's no white Ferrari. But then when I started explaining to what the front looks like outside, and where you go down to the drive out the gates and go left, they couldn't believe that I got it so accurate for something I'd never seen in my life. Another point where I see them all look at each other. And I think a few days after that, they actually, well, no, there's a lot of some other things that went on first. Before I actually got to see it, when I actually got wheeled out the front and I see it as it was, I actually was physically sick, more or less on myself in my wheelchair because I couldn't walk on, I think. So they wheeled me out for the first time.
And why were you sick?
Just because I think it all hit me that I've been here before. I've seen all of this.
Really?
Yeah, so as clear as it was, as clear as day.
What do you think that was then? So looking back at it, I just think I left my body, and there's just more to this world, or more to the afterlife, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Because why would someone that you love dearly, the people that I love the most, my closest people, come to tell me it's all going to be all right? You know, like, we could put it down to a dream or something like that, but I can't.
So vivid
and real. I can't turn away everything else materialistic about it, the white Ferrari and all that. What sense that had in it, or any of it, them being in white. We could say cliche of Heaven's Least white and the white light, whatever. But
all the detail,
of outside of how I sit, like I've done that. However I left, or however I've seen that, it was too real. I see it too clearly for what it was, to just say, oh, it was a dream. I can't see that in a dream. You can't see that stuff in a dream that you can. I know exactly where I went. Because bearing in mind, the time when they wheeled me out, we was going down to eat out, because I had to learn to eat again, so they would take me for chips. I had a craving for chips. So I was literally being wheeled in my chair where I've driven.
Wow, yes.
A few, maybe a week before, whatever, when being woken up. So I was physically sick, just sort of overwhelmed of how real that I've seen this. And and then I'm asking questions. Did I come in that way? No, you come in the emergency exit. That's the main entrance. You didn't come in that way. So I was trying to put pieces together. Like, how did I see all this then if I didn't know it? But I guess the other memorable thing was when they actually woke me up before all of this, actually. I remember they brought me out of a coma once, because it was an reoccurring thing. They keep bringing me out of it. And they brought me out of it, and I was sitting there. The missus is gone now. And this is weird. So like, you've had conversations before, and then you come back, and then you come back. Every time you wake up, it's like you've reborn again. You come back to something else. And my ex is sitting here, and my sister, both crying at the end of my bed. And I was like, so I'm sitting there like that. And now they can release a balloon or something in this thing, or blow up a balloon.
To help your lungs, or
so I can talk.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that could happen. So I think it's where they put a balloon in there or something to keep it open.
The airwaves.
Yeah, they close it so that you can use your voice.
Wow.
Now I can talk. So I thought, this is when I'm talking. I said, well, I don't even know was this another. Where was the girlfriend before? Now the ex is back. Like it's like, and I thought this was my life. And they were both crying at the end of the bed. I thought obviously it's about me. I thought, I'm not going to make it. They went, nah. They said, we've got something to tell you and everything else. And they said, your daughter died the other day, Atlanta.
Your daughter died?
My daughter, yeah. So with my daughter and my ex, she had complications from birth, from like, up to, I don't think she even made her third birthday. I might be getting it wrong. It was like second or third birthday. And they literally... all that happened when she was born is her intestines grew outside of her stomach. So there was an emergency cesarean with the ex. She was in hospital for a bit. She come home healthy. Me and the ex split up. I've met the new girlfriend and whatnot. And so they said that she came to visit me in the early times when I couldn't see. So I kind of remember it, but I don't. I want to remember it because it's my last moments, but I don't. And so sitting at the end of the bed, they've told me that, and fuck, man, my whole life just... You can't do anything anyway, you're fucked.
Yeah,
sitting there,
so vulnerable already.
So vulnerable. Like, I'm not being funny, like that morning particularly, before they brought me out, they probably brought... I think the guy showed, no, that might have been that night, tell a lie, it might have been that night. So let's go back with that one. They've told me that. I'll sit there, I can't grieve, I can't even get up out of bed. So
a prisoner in your own shell.
Prisoner in my own body. So the nurse said, let's take him out in a wheelchair because I was distraught. He's put an oxygen, because I'm on oxygen and everything, he's took me out on the oxygen tanks, took me outside. Like my ex-missus and my sister have come out with me. And I remember sitting, it was winter, because it was nearly Christmas, because I thought every time they wake me up, I keep seeing Christmas death, so I keep thinking I miss Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Because this is before Christmas. I keep thinking every time, I think, shit, Christmas is gone. But it's really Christmassy, cold, steamy, it's raining, and I just remember the smell of the air. Like I've never smelled air like I've smelled air, if that makes sense. Or misty, cold air. Like it's like coming out of, I don't know, a concentration camp or something. I can't explain it. But still sitting in my wheel, but now I've got to deal with all this, you know what I mean? I can't grieve, I'm sitting here. I'm absolutely like, now and then people try and talk about fucking funeral arrangements and all that. And I just can't, that part of it, how that didn't kill me, I don't know. I really don't know how that didn't send me down. Like when forget the 2 times before over the medical issues, how that didn't kill me, because I had to sit there every day. But I kind of had to find strength from it, because, so she's passed away in a way like, you know, she had, she had septicemia, and the sort of water of her body mixed with her blood.
Right.
So, like, imagine hearing how she died as well, like in my ex-missus' arms, with things, blood and water mixed out, like. And I just weren't. Yeah, if you're not there for a child, as a father, do you know what I mean? Because I'm fighting for my life, and she was fighting for her life in Chelsea, Westminster, before she went off to like the college hospital, wherever it was. So we're both fighting for our lives at the same time. And I kind of made it, she didn't. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's.
I'm so sorry to hear that, by the way.
No, thank you. It's, you know, it's not nice for anyone, but that kind of broke me. To be fair, that was probably worse than any of the burns. So from that, I've had to find strength now. Sitting where I'm sitting, I've had to find strength because we're talking about a funeral. The funeral's in my head. I need to attend it because I wasn't there in her darkest moments. Now I need to attend. I need to fix up. Do you get what I mean? So,
right.
So in a weird way, maybe she gave me strength to fix myself up a bit, because I was pretty gone in a lot of ways, health wise. So I started trying to just think, I want to walk for a funeral. I want to do it, because they were telling me, oh, well, we're going to take you in a wheelchair and oxygen tanks. A nurse will come with you. And I didn't want none of that. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to do it my way. So that's where the journey really began for me. Like, my daughter, in passing, gave me the strength to want to be there to bury her, basically. Do you know what I mean?
I was listening to something the other day about how, like, the natural being of life is, you know, a son to, or a father to go before the son does. Yeah. But kind of like the real traumatic experience is when a father has to bury their child.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, you wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy. Like, that situation.
But that's the thing. Like, grief is a funny thing. But yeah, you're not meant to bury a child before yourself, are you? That's.
It's like not the natural order of life.
It's not the natural way to do it. And you know, like, I thought it was there's so many people I've met that have also been through it in one way or another. So it's not like I could say I'm alone, because there's a lot of people grieve, but it is a different kind of pain. So if we talk about resilience, I have to say this with the most expressional way, I'm fucking titanium, because there's no other way. Do you know, I don't know anything else, because I've been burnt, I've been disfigured, I've buried my own daughter. I come from council estates and shit life before that, up to no good and whatever else. And like, as a kid, I was thrown from pillar to post. I was a product of my own environment, and I was a pretty naughty kid. But to get to this day, how can I not be resilient anymore? Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I know it sounds horrible. Like people say, oh, how can you just say that? You know, I am quite, not emotionless, but because I still have empathy, and I do. But it doesn't matter what someone does to me anymore. It has no effect, if that makes sense. And that's why I say I'm titanium, because you don't bury your own daughter. You don't get burnt, and you don't go through all these things without a massive resilience that I don't think anybody can match me for. I know it sounds mad to say that, but I don't think anybody can match my resilience.
Do you feel like a little piece of you gets cut away when you go through these kind of adverse moments?
Yeah, 100%.
You always turn a little bit numb.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a man who's lost everything. How my analogy is of myself. I'm a man that's been stripped of everything, lost everything. So what more can you take? That's my resilience.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So it's not like anything in my life now. You can't
throw nothing at you.
You can't throw nothing at me. You can't put it on me. You can't threaten me. You can't, like, whatever it is, you know, court cases. You know, like I'm talking about jail, because I've been through, we'll talk about that in a minute, I've been through court cases because of these burns and stuff. And it's
there was a whole court case outside to do with the fire incident as well, was there? Yeah,
which I'll talk about. But I'll tell you some funnier moments, because like the resilience side of it, like I said, you say it takes a piece of you. I say that I got stripped of everything. So kind of the same. Like I feel like I'm a man that you like I've just walked through life and everyone's took everything from you. So now I have nothing to give. Talk about glass empty. My glass has been empty for years, but it's not going to define me at the same time. So some funnier things though in hospital. So why I'm trying to, I've always been like a good laugh, always love a laugh and a crack and a wind up. And I think with the my healing process, a funny story is, now I'm trying to get, because now I want to get to this funeral, right? So I'm trying to do everything. I said to my missus, I want to go to the toilet. She said to me, I'm not taking you to the toilet. You can't get up and go to the toilet. I said, I need to start getting up. And I used to take my own oxygen mask off and go, till I couldn't breathe. And they go, put it on, you idiot, put it on. Every time when it got to the part where I couldn't get my last breath, I weaned myself off of that shit. If that makes, you know what I'm trying to say?
Strengthen your lungs.
Yeah, I was doing it myself.
Well,
like, because, yeah, and they were telling me, my sister, now put it back on, you idiot. I was like, and I was just going. So I eradicated that myself. I said to them, I wanted to take my toilet. They wouldn't take my toilet, so I leant over the bed because I couldn't move. I pissed in their slippers. Yeah, because just for the laugh. Do you know what I mean? Because I thought like they were winding me up. And funny was, 2 days later than that, I wound the missus up so much, the ex-missus, and she said, go on, I'll take you to the toilet then while there's no nurses about. And I've got this thing, I'm walking with this thing on the wheels, or she's walking with it, she's dropped me, I've got a catheter in. It's only split me end of my manhood. Oh. So I said, quickly put me back in bed, because they had the right ump that I'd peed in their slippers, yeah? Because I had to do...
Bet they did.
Yeah, because they wouldn't back me what I was trying to do, yeah? So I was getting frustrated. And it's funny when you look back at it, because it's funny times. She put me back in the bed, and then we've had to call the nurse now, because now I'm bleeding. You know what I mean? So that was quite fun, because where it come out, oh my God, that was painful. And I blamed her till that, like, years ago.
The cows
like,
came home.
Yeah, you dropped me.
Yeah.
But you're a heavy guy. I said, no, you dropped me. I was only 6 stone at the time, because I went down to nothing. That was another thing. I went down to 6 stone through being laid up in hospital. I don't think that was from diseases. I think it's just being laid up in
What were you roughly before that?
Always like 11 and a half.
Were you? So you lost about 5 stone?
About 5 stone, yeah. I was like a twiglet, and I was like very weak, you know. And so I had to do...
Rehabilitation.
Yeah, rehabilitation.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Learning to walk again and stuff. And they said to me, like, because my mouth was so tight, because everything was skin graft up to here, and where I was stuck in the tracheostomy, everything was retracted. Yeah, so there's a lot of things they say you might not be able to do. They didn't say you couldn't do it. They said you might not be able to do this, you might not be able to do that. And again, I wanted to defy everything. So from that hospital time, now I've got a funeral coming, right? So the day of the funeral, I'm still like, I'm off the oxygen now. Because, he's all right, you can breathe without him now, because I've been doing this every day. Still can't really walk, but I don't need a nurse now. Now they've let me go on my own, like with my family. And good friends of mine, I said I wanted like black Range Rovers or whatever it was, and they got all them for me, and we had the horse and cart and everything else, and we followed it. But I wanted to drive, and my power being my power, like go on, you just drive then. So I drove for the first time.
Well, I was going to say, were you in a position to drive, were you?
Probably not. Probably not.
Really?
But I had to do it, if that makes sense. I'm not ashamed that I didn't care about the legal system then. I have to do this as a man now, as a father. Do you know what I mean? This is the send-off, and I'm going to do it my way. You know what I mean? As a strong father. And then we got there, and I had the wheelchair and everything. I just got out of the car and walked. Wobbly as it was, I walked, and then I never not walked from that day.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And I could only do steps before that. I assisted on Zimmer frames, assisted on steps. Like the rehabilitation to come back was the hardest battle, man.
But you wanted to be strong for her on that day.
I wanted to be strong, and that's why I say, if she didn't give me the strength, would I have come back as I did?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I can understand that.
If you're weighing the scales, I think maybe she needed to give me that strength for me to survive. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here either. Do you know what I mean? So I got to say goodbye in the end, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In one way or another. To show up.
Yeah.
And one of the moments before that, another pinnacle moment, is when I talk about the disfigurement. You know, like the things that made me resilient. The night guy in ICU, my nurse, male nurse, said to me, "Do you actually want to see what you look like?" Because bear in mind, there's no mirrors, is there? You're just laying in bed. I said, "Yeah, I'd like to see that." Oh, shit, man. I looked in the mirror, one of them handheld mirrors, and like Freddy Krueger looked back at me, like a monster, you know what I mean? I was like, fuck.
Just a bare face that was just red.
Oh, it's horrible though. It wasn't just red. It wasn't just a red, but it was like melted, disfigured. And I thought, when I put that mirror down, I thought, I can't live like that. Do you know what I mean? That was a battle, and there's so many battles. That's what I mean. There's so many different times and different.
I mean, to be honest with you, what's actually incredible is how you look today, because you look great, by the way.
Thank you.
Compared to the photos that you showed me before.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll use to kind of show people. But yeah, it was just absolutely incredible. Like the transformation, mate. You know, you should be like really impressed of how that's, you know, turned out, if I'm honest with you.
No, I appreciate that. Do you know what? It's like I said, I healed naturally. So the healing side of it was my body doing the work. Like exercise-wise, or anything I've had to overcome, I've done myself. As in exercise, I built a gym in my living room. And for 2 years I was a recluse and I'd done nothing but train. They said you can't box, but yet I hit a punch man every day till like my hands bled to bits, and then they became strong. Even scar tissue becomes strong.
Yeah,
at the
of
end.
course.
And hanging off the end of the bed, stretching my neck because it was all contracted, I got all my full movement back within 2 years.
Do you think you had some sort of PTSD as well from this incident?
Yeah, 100%. I was diagnosed. I was under clinical psychiatrist for maybe 3 or 4 years.
You saw a clinical psychiatrist?
Yeah, because I suffered badly with PTSD. And a lot of that, though, was... not a lot of it, because obviously PTSD is PTSD, but I had a pharmaceutical addiction as well, because leaving hospital was the maddest thing, because I left for the funeral, and I had to come back to hospital. How mad's that? I've got to come back. So be it. For a couple of days, then I became an outpatient. The minute I became an outpatient, I wanted to go back in because I was having anxiety. I felt like spiders were crawling all under my skin. Like it's all the morphine, you know, coming off all the drugs. I didn't realise. Wow. Oh man, I think that was worse when I come out of hospital. When I was there, you just feel looked after.
Yeah, of course.
You come out, you think like everything's going wrong here.
Yeah.
And
then what, do they just like cut you straight off of the drugs? They don't. Do they wing you off slowly?
I don't actually know if they winged me off in there. I presume they must have done in a way, but they fueled me with other things when I left. So they gave me, because I was in ICU for like ages, and this went on for 3 months, didn't it? So I couldn't sleep, so I had to have temazepam to sleep, and for my anxiety, maybe because of coming off the morphine, then I had diazepam. So I had uppers and downers, really.
Yeah.
One's tranquilising me and one's making me sleep. So now I'm a zombie, because now I'm sleeping. I'm taking tablets so that I can live with myself, because without the tablets, but I didn't. What you don't realise is that becomes a big addiction in itself.
Of course it does.
So now I've got a massive pharmaceutical addiction, because I've got to take more tablets to sleep because they're not working, more tablets to curb the anxiety, because I can't even leave my house now. This is why I had 2 years.
What was happening?
That's what happened, yeah. So 2 years I was a recluse, and then taking tablets all the time.
Yeah.
So I had what I did was I had a game of cards one night with some friends and family because they used to all have to come and see me at my house because I wouldn't go anywhere. And someone had a joint. And you know what? I think it's a bit that they went damn stupid. I had a joint, I had the best night's sleep of my life.
Did you?
Yeah, I promise you I did. And I'm not condoning it to anyone. But that saved my life of the pharmaceutical addiction because I didn't abuse it, but I smoked it now. I could sleep well, I could eat well. And then I kicked...
Yeah, I bet you could eat well, to be fair.
Oh, Haribo's for days. Yeah. That was brilliant. But I kicked all that other pharmaceutical rubbish.
Do you feel like you traded one medicine for another?
Yeah, that's why I say, hence I don't condone it because I'm more of a natural guy. Because it grew on a plant, I feel that was more natural than a man-made because I had less physical addiction to that than I did to the pharmaceutical. The pharmaceutical to me is scary, it's dangerous. I'd never take a tablet now unless I really have to.
Well, you see on the boxes as well, it says like warning that you can get addicted to things like these, and so
exactly.
It's all in writing. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's in writing, but there's no roadmap of how to come out of it, is there? Come off it. They're quick to give you them things and then just leave you like
deal with the aftermath.
Yeah, I don't even know if that may have killed me, my addiction, because I was buying them outside of my doctor as well because I needed more. So with my
legally or illegally?
Illegally, just offline.
Were you?
Yeah, because I needed more. I was asking anyone that got them on prescription, let me buy them, let me have them. I needed so many because even what the doctor could give me weren't enough. Like that's when I knew I understood addiction. For once in my life, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You think like, yeah, I used to smoke cigarettes for years. We all know that's addictions as well, but this was a dangerous one.
And do you think the addiction was masking the pain or masking like an emotional place that you kind of was struggling to deal with at that time? Because for me, you know, I've been through my own addiction as well.
Yeah.
And generally, you're kind of using it to cover something up that you should be dealing with. But obviously, you've just kind of come out of hospital. So I can imagine you're using it to numb the pain, the actual physical pain, as opposed to, say, any emotional pain that some people use addiction for.
Yes or no?
Or
yes,
both.
Both, yeah. That's what I was going to say, both. Purely for the fact of, one, I've just been for one hell of a ride here. And secondly, I've got a lot of pain because I haven't grieved properly because my grief was getting fit enough to do a funeral for my daughter, to be there. So I don't think I actually grieved. I don't think I was obviously accepting disfigurement. I was accepting that I'm not the same guy I once was. Physicalities. And just the fact of like, you know, insecurities now, because now I'm sitting here like I'm disfigured.
Yeah.
My bird's going to run off with someone else. I'm never going to meet another girl in my life. You know, like all the, because you get consumed in ICU. I'm there 24 hours, insomnia.
Yeah,
like
in your head.
In my head. I'm living in my own head. And all these things, like, we all say it's materialistic. Oh, you shouldn't think like that. There's always something for someone. Yeah, but you can't, if your life changes overnight, it's a much more impact. If you woke up, George, and you didn't look like George anymore,
yeah, so
that's an impact you don't understand.
Yeah.
Unless it happens.
You've got to process that.
You've got to process it. And it's like that. So you've got to process it as quick as that. And it can change overnight like that. So,
well, for you, I mean, when it comes to that processing, I don't even... The overnight thing isn't even feasible for anyone. It takes months. It could take years.
It takes years. Is that so? So everything I did, included in smoking cannabis after that, it got me off of them drugs. But then it's still another drug, isn't it?
Another, yeah.
So I'm still masking things with that because that's making me sleep. It's making me feel happy. It's making me eat well. So therefore, I've just replaced something that I think dangerous for something less dangerous.
Yeah.
However you want to look at it. But I'm still dealing with stuff. I'm still sitting there like every day on my journey back after all of that.
Like this pain, like still eating away at you slightly.
Yeah, because I feel like my dreams and things have been took away from me because anything I wanted to do, I was who I was and I had all my dreams and aspirations. And now I'm coming back
it's like you killed me and brought me back as someone else, but a bad version of someone. So now I've got to try and find my way in the world like this. Do you get it? And then I've got, like, on top of this, I've got a court case now going on. So I've been visited by solicitors. I've been visited by the...
What was the court case about?
So the court case was to fight my uncle's estate.
Right.
Because they've said to me, look, there's injury money here. Do you want to
pursue it?
Pursue it, yeah. What do you want to do? I said, what is there? Well, there's a criminal court of justice. We just write to them, get a few, it helps you get back on your feet, money and everything else.
Of course.
I ain't going to be able to work indefinitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
really.
Yeah, there's no future for me now. So which is nice of them to come along and do, but they also said, but what we could do, take on the biggest court battle ever and take on UK Insurance Limited, because our chances are very slim. And I said, I've been an underdog all my life, just go with that, because we're talking big money or we're talking injury money, 15, 16 grand. I said, just go for it. Well, 16 grand, that's not even going to change anyone's life, just go for it. And from there onwards, we had a major court battle going on with them. They own Churchill and all these. So we had to prove, basically, in court. We lost in county court, or whatever the first court was. We lost, and we appealed it. And we went to High Court and then Supreme Court. So when we got to High Court, we lost again. We
appealed
it, got to Supreme Court, and then the 3 judges went in our favour. I'm whittling this down, by the way, because it's an 8-year story.
Wow.
In one.
8 years?
8 years this went on for. And at every point they said to me, like, well, we might not be able to continue because is it worth the appeal? Like, what do you want to do? Because if I'd have lost this case, like, I'd never been able, even if I could work, I'd never been able to work again in my life.
And who was paying for all of this? Was it like one of them no win, no fee?
No win, no fees.
Yeah.
First of all, my house insurance paid for it. So what we had to do, this is what we had to do. We set precedents in law with this, by the way.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so my name is there, the Terry Dunnage versus UK Insurance Limited. So we set precedents in law. So it was worth the journey. But at points of this journey, again, so this is another battle. Do you get what I mean? This is what, so from all of these burns, it's been nothing but battles all of my life. Do you know, from till this day now, do you know? So we got denied at court, we appealed that, got to High Court. At one point, if I'd have lost the last appeal now, they would have just had because they've spent millions fighting us. I've had my insurance company pay so much, now I'm on no win, no fee. So and if I lost, I'm liable for UK Insurance Limited's losses or whatever, which they'd have just put a thing against your name, you never have credit for the rest of your life. We had to prove, which we did prove, in forensic evidence, that my uncle still has a duty of care. This is where I changed all the law, is that there was a point in this world where, or up to a certain time in my court case, where you could be a paranoid schizophrenic, you weren't thinking right.
Yeah, in most cases.
In most cases. So what we changed was, you still have a duty of care to others, regardless of your mental state.
Did you?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what we won it on, basically, to prove that my uncle, for one, in forensic evidence, he was a paranoid schizophrenic. Secondly, he was dealing with a lot of stuff mentally, but he still had a duty of care because your insurance still covers you. So his house insurance covered him, injury to a third party, whether that be your neighbours.
Oh, right. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we won it on that basis and changed law with it.
And what was the payout for something like that?
Well, it was printed in the Times and all that, and the Daily Mail. It was like $1 million. It wasn't, because I was on benefits before all of that. So first and foremost, you pay back all of the
benefit.
Yeah, because I was on like disability benefits and stuff. That all had to be paid back. Then it had to be paid back the insurance company that paid for the court case in the beginning before we went on no win.
Yeah.
So in the end, it was silly figures. But it was about winning. It was never about the money. It was about actually just winning, because lucky enough, well before that, I came back to myself. So I was no longer dependent on a court case. But in the court case, they shafted me in every way they could. They had the best lawyers, the best. UK Insurance Limited is the biggest one.
Yeah, I bet it was.
They own them all.
Just a power machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, with loads of money. So they were probably just trying to do. So it's crazy as well, because probably the amount of money they did end up spending, They could have just done a settlement figure outside of it and then put it to bed.
100%. You know, they actually, in the end of it all, they ended up spending about 2.6 million, I think it was, or 2.8 million. And if you knew, like, my payout was less than 300.
Was it?
Less than that.
Even though you can't even put like a monetary value of what you've gone through.
Not at all.
Anyway, it's just that it's nice to know you get something at the end of it rather than like empty-handed.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that you don't. Yeah, it's not for the 8 years of battle and everything else. You know, like, and we offered them in the beginning. Why don't you just make a, because they were so sure they were going to win. We was unsure. We was only ever like,
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
I think we had 30% chance. It was 70-30 their favour all the time. So they obviously went with what they did. But isn't that a shame that, like, you think that you pay all that? You could have just given me, like, I don't know, 600-700 grand, told me to go away.
Yeah, give you the money and that's it.
It saved yourself 1.8 million or 2 million.
Yeah,
it was.
but it's all a bit politically led rather than about doing the right thing. It's always probably don't want to admit to any liability, I suppose.
Well, exactly, yeah, because if they'd admitted to that, or they took the liability like they had to in the end, but if they'd have just paid out on that, everybody could have.
Yeah,
I don't know. But
so did you ever actually find out what the deal was with your uncle? Like, why everything changed in that period of time?
I don't know fully, because the funny story was, I say the funny story. The funny thing is, considering they're all my family and I got on with them, when it came to like the court case and stuff like, or when it came to leaving hospital, or when I was in the hospital, my auntie or my cousins never ever came to see me, because I guess in some way they blame me because their dad's dead or whatever.
You think so?
I think so, yeah, because they took an injunction out of me. I got visited by CID in my hospital again when I was in ICU of Devon police, and I think he wanted to get the story straight, because they were, at one point it was looking like I incapacitated him from getting out of the fire,
right? Because
there was a fight. So therefore,
even though it would be more deemed that you were defending yourself,
which was the way it went. You can't attack someone and you can't not defend yourself. But because he didn't make it out of there, I guess they blame me that there's more to the story, but there's not. That's as black and white as it was. It wasn't like an amazing punch up that he laid out and he died. He fully intended to do what he did anyway. He just come unlucky that he couldn't get out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think it got hold of him at that point. And so they had injunctions against me, and my auntie made up loads of false allegations that he's got notorious friends and all that, and we wanted, you know, the order.
Oh, you've got notorious friends.
Yeah.
And then what you're going to send after them?
I'm going to send after them and everything. Which, how can I blame them for my uncle's action? Which is madness to me. But the way it all went is that they portrayed me as someone that he's so well connected that something's going to happen to us.
And
still to this day, I couldn't even tell you where they are. I ain't got.
Oh, really? That was it after that?
Yeah,
that was
early.
Did you ever blame them or?
Not at all. I think, like you said, just asking about what my uncle's medical, only because what we heard in court is what we know now.
Right.
But my auntie, I think there's a lot to answer for that day. She knows a lot more. So, because there's times where she was like, because she said he brought her flowers the night before. He's never brought her flowers. Like, she portrayed him as something like innocence, where she was an horrible bastard, is the truth of it. And she'd probably, if you had mental health, you wouldn't want to be around her. I say it as it is, because she used to push him a little bit by saying, well, go on then, go and do what you're going to go and do and all that. Then
almost
go and kill yourself.
Yeah,
add fuel. So I believe that day he came to me. This is why it went like this, because she's added fuel to his fire. He's done what he's done, and she doesn't want to like answer to telling the police that he brought her flowers just the night before.
Almost like self-preservation, innit?
Exactly that. And when he went off to Spain, I'm pretty sure you said, go on, do one or whatever, because that's the sort of bird she was, you know. And
to be honest, though, I mean, you know, it's a bit bang to rights that somebody's coming to your house with petrol.
Yeah.
Like they've already instigated it straight from the off start. So whatever you've done before or after that, there's nothing to justify the action.
Yeah, no, exactly. And don't get an injunction order on me if you ain't got nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't have blamed you, but now I'm looking at you. You get what I mean? Now I'm sort of looking at what you is, but like, I couldn't even tell you where they are to this day. So that shows you something. Do you know what I mean? That's how long they've avoided me for 16, 17 years.
Is that how long it's been?
How long? Yeah. Me and my cousin was close. I've got 2 cousins. One's his kid from Essex, who's not even anything to do with the auntie now or the ex-auntie. Do you get what I mean? So it don't really make sense. And we went to my nan's funeral. I didn't see him now. I think I did, or did I? No, I don't think I see my cousin there. But yeah, it destroyed a lot of relationships just because of one man's actions. But there was talks within the court case that he'd stopped taking his medication for whatever reason.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
It does. I think he was off the medication. I don't know for what reason. There's so many secrets that side that I couldn't tell you the ins and outs. But we was very close when we was young. So it's not like... And when people say, do you got to forgive to move on? You don't. I believe you me. Because
what's your view?
My view is, and I say I don't forgive him. I'd never forgive that guy for that. And he's in the best place he is, because if he wasn't, I'm no big man, but I would have tortured that guy to death. So I'm happy where he is, and that's my contentment. I can't forgive. When people say, "Oh, forgive and forget," no, I forget him.
Yeah,
I can talk about him now, like now. I don't forget him, but I will never forgive that guy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
If he'd have lived, I don't think I'd be locked up I'd be doing life because I wouldn't allow. I couldn't allow that. Just from what I went through.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no, you ain't, it's an eye for an eye with that. And I know it sounds horrible, but I can't lie. I can't just sit here and say, yeah, I forgive and forget. Yeah, that's the way you got to do it. Sometimes you can just forget.
I think it's better just to forget, like let it go. But
let it go.
It sounds like he, I'm not going to say got what he deserved, but like the crime fit the punishment in the end, didn't it? Or the punishment fit the crime.
100%.
Like he took his life, life ended. So therefore, there's nothing else from it after that, is there?
Well, that's why I think the same. I think what life would you have had being like that anyway? But more importantly, who else would you have gone on to hurt? Because do you get what I mean? Like, would you have hurt my mum next, or? Because it could have been my mum. She lived between me and him.
Oh, really? So everyone was quite on top of each other?
Everyone was quite on top of each other. So a drive away, but he passed our house to come to mine. So therefore, I'd much rather it... Like, I'm glad it happened to me in a later now, because if it happened to my mum, she might not have survived.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So if anyone was going to take this, I'm glad that I took it in that sense. But it could have been a different scenario.
So what happened for you? You're on this road to recovery now. Yeah. You've had the funeral at this point.
Yeah.
What happened with your and was the legal case finished around this time as well, or? Yeah.
So the legal case was finished, I think, in around about 2012.
Oh, 2012.
The funeral we done early 2008. That's
right.
That's when I walked the first time. Then I was a recluse for a couple of years, getting off pharmaceutical drugs. So fast forward now, where are we at now? 2, 8, 9, 10. So I was going through the court case in my recovery time. I'm under the clinical psychiatrist. I'm under the surgeons of Chelsea Westminster now as an outpatient because I've come back to London. So the house is gone because it's burned down. Now I'm in a big battle with my insurance company, funny enough, Churchill, about my... house because they're now having to repair it.
Yeah, they're probably not claiming responsibility for that either, are they?
No, to be fair to them on that side of it, because I had house insurance, they had to fix the house up.
Right, is that?
So that took place, but that was a big thing, man, because like the one floor had burnt through to the other floor. Like the kitchen, everything had melted, even the fridge freezers. There was nothing recognisable, and it had all gone down to the floor. So there was a lot of work there. But there's a mortgage on this. I weren't like, I hadn't been concentrating on work on it because I've just moved away. So for the first 6 months, I've got a jet ski, I'm down on the sea, I'm just living the seaside life. I've never lived. So I'm not even thinking about bills. So where I've gone in hospital, I've probably only got like 15 grand in the bank, whatever. I've been in hospital for like all my bills and everything's going out. Right. So there's no money there's no future.
Yeah, it's not like there's much glimmer of hope.
No hope, yeah. So now we're basically broke. Do you know what I mean? So I think 2 magazines come in, took the story Take a Break and Pick Me Up, that the missus done a deal with him. And that sort of saved our arse a little bit. That paid us money.
Did it?
Yeah. I think that paid like 5 or 6K or something like that for the 2 stories. Because it's quite a big story, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
all the
of
papers
course.
and that. And, but then we was broke. So that we couldn't no longer pay the mortgage. There's no sense in paying the mortgage because we thought, well, you're going to blacklist us anyway. What can we do? It's going to be a hard house to sell with a horror story behind it as well.
Right.
So we let it go to auction, and then there was a shortfall of what was owed. So now they're chasing us for that. And then we're in rented accommodation now. I'm on benefits, so I'm no good. She's caring for me in a way and trying to find a little job or whatever. And so we're back in London now. I'm under Chelsea Westminster as an outpatient. I've still got to have operations and all that.
Were you still undergoing? Were you still undergoing like the recovery? Were you?
Yeah, because I had to have an operation because my ears had melted to my head.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so more in the bottoms. So my earlobes had melted here, so I had to have a release. Twice, I think they'd done that. I had to
Really?
release.
It's incredible. Yeah, you would never like notice.
No, but these were earlier days. Like
Yeah.
to cut and release them, I had done twice, and then I had eyebrow implants because I literally had no eyebrows at all. I only had like 2 little stumps here. So they'd done that, and it never got finished because my surgeon at the time left the NHS, and he was the only guy that done the hair implants, and he done it quite early on because I was really paranoid about not having eyebrows, and so I was going through my regular things there, the exercise things, the recovery in the hospital. What did you say it's called earlier?
Like rehabilitation.
Like rehabilitate, like physio.
Yeah, physio. Yeah,
that's
right.
Physio, and yeah, so that and the court battle up to about 2012. Then I sort of started turning things around a bit. Then I wanted to start my own charity. Do you get what I mean?
And this was
Terry Dunnage Foundation.
The Terry Dunnage Foundation.
That's it.
And what was that to help?
That was just I just wanted to, where I was as a man disfigured. I kind of I didn't think there was any help for a man because like I wanted to be able to be body confident. I wanted to be able to worry about my looks. You know, like women were doing it. I want to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So I wanted to, there was no, all I actually wanted when I was in hospital and I was in a bad, I just wanted someone like myself to sit there, someone normal. I don't want I know it sounds cliche, I don't want some Oxford University, I want a council estate kid to sit there with me, like a working class man, just sit there, or boy, whatever, just say, Terry, listen, I was where you was, but look where I am now. You're going to get here. That's what I needed. So
you never felt that you got that?
Not at all.
So
if I talked about body confidence, like that ain't manly, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
That was at a time in 2008, early 2008, when I was talking about it. I was talking about men's mental health before. Forget your Furies and all the people that started coming out of it later. I was talking about it, and everyone was downplaying me. Like there was people going on that in other burn survivors that were going on shows, and because they were girls and all that, it was like, oh yeah, we want to hear your body confidence. I said, hold up, I've got a story as well. I'm a man. Like, I'm pretty unconfident in my body.
Yeah, that's right.
No one gave a shit. Do you know what I'm trying to say though?
Yeah,
and that's when I really went to town when I wanted my own charity and all that. And I thought, you know what? And although I didn't concentrate on it well enough, but I got my message out there in the end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like there's clearly a gap here, and you're gonna fill that gap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Because everybody wanted me to turn up and like do an inspirational talk or be part of their thing, but no one wanted to listen to me when I wanted to talk. Like no show was interested. No, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as a man, I suffered in silence on top of all of that because now I can't even be honest. I couldn't even talk about it.
It's probably a hard thing to process, let alone talk about it.
Is that
to people? So I could imagine that was a tough challenge for you to go through.
Because you're bearing all. So how I did it, George, right? What I did was I done my own documentary rather than going to TV companies and all that. My mate, who owns a little production company, Mellow 9, we done our own documentary. We won 2 awards. And
amazing.
Thank you very much. Thing was, I wanted to do my own story my way. I don't care if it ain't 4K and all that. I just wanted to put everything and give hope. And that was the only way, with that and writing a book is the only way I knew how.
And you wrote a book, did you?
I wrote a book as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
About the incident or your life in...
The book's more in depth than the document because the book is
My whole story and all my psychological notes are in it.
Oh,
I'm the first guy, well, I was at that time, I think, because my psychologist, clinical psychologist, whatever you want to call them now, said it's never been done. So because I okayed with her for me to put all my so you see my mental health state all the way through the book.
What, her taking notes of your mental state, and then it's all in the book.
Yeah, in stages of the chapters. Yeah, of where my head was at, because it was in some bad places.
Was it? Yeah, that is very interesting to see. Like, yeah, I can't say I've ever. I mean, I don't read loads of books anyway.
Me neither. I've never read my own, but
yeah.
no.
So you done the documentary, you wrote the book, and then you was also using it as a way to kind of like talk about body positivity for yourself, but for other people too, right? Because I've seen other people of victims on your page as well. Is that?
Yeah. So I used to like to team up with other people, girls and boys with disfigurements, and showcase it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I know there's a thing like, you know, what society tells us to be, and because I was that before. Before I was a very confident guy. I class myself as a pretty boy. Most people might not, but
still are.
Thank you very much. But I didn't have the issues that I had. So to go from that and then be down here, and then I've had to come back up again to somewhat of where I once was, that was the most important thing. And I think to share that with others, and people got it, you know, people started getting it. Although people went off on their own journeys and things, I'm just content now that I've done enough. And yeah, we made a difference. We've done some photo shoots. Probably because I'm a builder, I've always had the lack of, this world is different to me. Filming, or trying to get a message out there that's really important. Do you get what I mean? It's so different to me, so different world for me, because it's not my world. I think I could have done a lot better, is what I'm saying. If I knew what I knew now, because knowledge comes later.
Yeah.
I know that I could. My important thing was just to help as many people as I could at no cost. Yeah. I never raised a penny in my life when I had Terry Dunnage family. That was my lack of things, because get a fundraiser and all that. I thought, I don't want to ponce off anyone. I just want to do good. I just want to change one life. I want to give something. I want to give you confidence over there, or you where I once was, because that's all I needed. I just needed to see someone that's been through it and just talk to me, man. Just have a man to man or a woman to man, whatever. Just show me something.
I mean, the one thing I find really incredible is how a lot of people, when I keep meeting them, definitely on the show as well, is they go through something adverse or traumatic, and generally they come out the other side and they want to do good and help and like heal other people. Yeah. So I don't think there's ever a time not to do it. It's just it's almost just like an amazing thing to see that people are doing it regardless of when they do it. Yeah. They're finding a way to give back and almost be that person of need that they needed when they were on their journey.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, it's amazing to see that, you know, you kind of, because, you know, a lot of people get selfish, don't they? They make life about themselves. I don't need to worry about helping others. Like, just need to worry about helping myself. And, you know, and I think if people had adopted more of your mindset of what you're talking about, then, you know, I think life would be just that little bit more pleasant, wouldn't it?
I always think that. I think, why ain't the world like me and my pal Stu? Like, how can it not? How can you not, in a way, and yourself, the people that, how can you not want to give, like, in life? Like, before, don't get me wrong, I was probably an arrogant arsehole, because, do you know what I mean? Because I did think I was the bollocks and everything else, and I had everything going for me. But maybe I was meant to go through this as well, so I accept my journey in life, that I was meant to go through all of this, because now I come out, because now I generally feel that I do have something to give to the world. And it's important, because there's not a lot after listening to me today, there's so much more to it, but we have to breeze because of time-wise.
Yeah, of course.
There's so much to it. How can you stand next to me and tell me that, oh, I'm having a bad day? I say, well, come on, man, I've been through some bad days. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I can support you.
Perspective, yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of it, I don't live with regrets now, George. I live with the fact of that I was meant to go through this. I was meant to be the guy that gave back, although on a higher level I'd like to have done it, but I've helped so many people. Like I've had my own messages, and I've inspired. So to me, more than I ever anticipated. So I'm gracious with that.
Yeah,
I'm thankful for that. Like because if I could save one life, then all this was worth it. Do you get what I mean? Because otherwise, what was the point of me going through all this? Not that I wanted to go through it,
yeah.
But there's got to be something at the end of that. And I think, like you said, most people, even on here that I've seen your podcast, you have to go through something to be able to give. Otherwise, you have nothing. If you've never been through anything, how can you give? As in support. You can give moral support, but you need to be able to talk. Like if we talk about addiction, we've got level ground. Our road to recovery is now
relatable.
Relatability is important.
It is.
I can't. That's hence why I said to you, I couldn't sit there with someone that was not down to earth or likes to laugh and a joke. I can't sit there with someone serious, like because you're going to give me heart palpitations. I need someone that's going to crack a joke and go, Terry, it doesn't matter. Like, I was here. Like you're going to heal. You're going to heal. So be it 90%, 20%, but you're going to get a life, some sort of life back. I needed to hear that at my lowest point, and there was no one.
And to be fair, like it definitely sounds like you got your life back from the situation as well.
Yeah, well, do you know what? It's a funny one actually because you give in life, don't you? Like we talk about, and my journey seems to always continue though. Like I don't know if God or whatever wants to make me like. I don't know if there's any optimum thing of being titanium that I am. I think they're trying to make me triple platinum titanium because since then, like they've tried to take my house. They've tried to take this is things coming back 10, 15 years later or 14 years later, maybe at the time, whatever. The same mortgage company that we didn't pay came back and bit me like years later. So I had another court battle that went on for ages. And lucky enough, and I didn't even have no money. It was only lucky enough that the people that set precedents in law with me stood by me again for nothing. Not even for no win, no fee. Said, listen, we're going to help you. That's a quick case. We're going to help you with that. That done my head in. Then you start living again because that's another big case out of the way again because that went on for a bit as well. That was like, you think, oh, God, they're going to take your last things that you've just built back over years. They now want to take that. And then I end up losing it anyway because the missus that I had at the time that I saved her life and for all that we went through, run off with another guy.
Did she?
Yeah.
Unbelievable, yeah.
So, and I'm not, we talk and we get on now, I'm not saying that, but so now I've gone from a whole life of a lot of dark moments alone to now being alone again.
Yeah.
So maybe loneliness is my friend. You get it? I think that's maybe what I've got to embrace, and that's what it is.
You seem quite at peace though. You seem quite at peace with yourself. I don't know if that's I know it's always different behind closed doors for a lot of us, but you seem quite like happy and content of where you are in life.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I've been through so many dark times. I generally am happy and content now. I found contentment in just that.
In life's simple pleasures.
Yeah, because to get to this point in my life, I'm not saying there hasn't been support, because there is with family and friends, whatever. I'm not saying there ain't, but all my darkest moments have been fought alone. So to get to this point, I give you an analogy of how I look at it. I'm like the guy that's driving, and I look in the rearview mirror. There's no one behind me anyway. I've only ever had my own back. So therefore, if I just always have my own back, in a sense of that, if I go through bad times now, if I feel down or whatever, I spend it alone. I don't want no one around me.
You want to process it yourself.
I want to because I fight better alone. So I go within myself. So I don't answer my phone for a few days. Like, listen, I'm all right. You know what I mean? This is how I deal with it. And a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people go, how could you? We're not. I'm your mate, or I love you, or whatever. None of that matters. I'm best. My battles are best fought alone.
Yeah.
But
I can relate to. I can really relate to that as well.
Yeah. So you understand that.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing that some people don't get it.
The thing is, I think when you're trying to figure things out, the best way to figure something out is by figuring it out yourself anyway, because that's your true authentic self working. When someone's like, well, why don't you just do this, or why don't you just do that, or you're giving all this advice, that's not you working it out. That's somebody telling you exactly
how to do it. Yeah.
And even then it might not last. So I can kind of see, I can definitely relate, and I probably do it a little bit too much myself, where I have to go away and process something before, trying to deal with certain things. But everyone deals with things in different ways, don't they?
But if that serves you well, ain't that the best way to do
it?
Why do something you don't want to do? If you sit there and listen to advice, like I can't listen to noise. If I'm going through something, whatever it is, a bad job or a bad day,
just need to be left alone.
It needs to be left alone. Yeah. I don't want to hear your way of doing it because you're just throwing noise in my head, and I can't. It's making me even worse.
Yeah.
Actually, where if I just go away alone, it's not go away. I just come home alone.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. Just that peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in my life, I've been through burns, disfigurement, loss, betrayal. So I don't know what else God's got to tick off my list, but so if I ain't going to become a resilient coach next, I don't know what. That's my point, because there's the times alone and stuff is more. It's just like healing for me. So I could be alone with myself because I just feel like I'm healing. Yeah. What I've always done.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you.
But sorry, I'll tell you one thing I don't do, where you'll notice all my stuff, is what I don't do as well. Because people do that, what you just said there. It's important, this one. That people, when they tell you their views, you'll never see me give, just because I've been through it, I don't say, George, you should do it like this, brother. It's not like that. All I do is I'll do a book or I'll do a photo shoot. I will just show you things that you might take something from. Because I'd rather inspire you through action of showing you or give you my story than I'm ever going to tell you how to deal with it, because we all have to deal with it different. And like you just said there, you deal with it the same way I do. So I can't have someone else that tells me, but...
Impose.
Yeah. And hence why I say when I was in hospital, going back to day one, I just wanted someone to have a chat with me. Not tell me anything, but just say, look, I was where you are, and I'm here now. So I'm just letting you know, it doesn't always going to be this, not always going to sit, you know what I mean? Just have a chat.
Yeah. I think there's that big misconception of the difference between giving someone advice and telling them what to do, and then just kind of understanding the situation that they're in. Yeah. I think there's two different dynamics, because sometimes when people are like really frustrated or something, they just want to vent. They don't want someone to necessarily tell them, well, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? No, they just want to get it out and express, or they just want to be heard in that moment, in that time.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we're wising up to as we go along this journey, is that there's moments of time when we need the advice, and then there's other times where we just got to shut up and listen to that person, get what they got to off their chest. That's something I learned along the journey. But I mean, I found the most power is generally generated for you figuring shit out yourself.
Yeah.
Not necessarily being force-fed something, because I don't think it sustains itself anyway. I think everyone that figures it out for themselves along that journey generally holds on to it.
Well, hence why when I put my psychiatrist notes in my book, because I sat here and said, she don't do nothing for me, this psychiatrist. She doesn't. I'm doing it all myself. Which was right. I was right. But where I was wrong is that she made me go within myself.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So she made me look within, and that's what brought me back. So she done the right thing. She didn't force anything on me. She sat there and listened and just talked about me talking about me.
Yeah.
So your answers are always within. They're never external. It doesn't matter. You go, go psychiatrist. Yeah, but you've got all your works.
It's
all
just
the answers
that
are within.
People find it extremely painful to look within. I think that's the problem, because this self-preservation is like, most people don't want to assume that they're the problem to why something is happening half the time.
100%.
What's quite funny about it is, although there's that vulnerability of kind of looking within, that's where the real control happens.
Yeah.
So like, once you actually do get past that pain of like, oh, this is me that's actually causing this problem, whatever it is, it's then you realise you've actually got control to change it.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of a self-realisation, and even like there's been moments in time where I've realised it for myself, but then there's something else to have a realisation on, and there's something else, and I think I think sometimes a flag for me is like, if I've got a problem with someone else, then it's a little bit of a reminder what's going on internally for me.
Yeah.
Like, why am I thinking this way towards somebody else, because I like to have I like to have control. I don't like to. The more I kind of externalize things, the more I feel like a victim.
Yeah.
So the more I internalize, the more control I feel like I've got to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, so no, there's a lot to be said about doing internal work, but
it's a big thing. It's a big thing, and you got it. Saying that definitely helps, and I think it's for everyone. That, do you know what I mean? I just think you got to figure that. It's the things you've got to figure out internally, though. It's not everyone's individual on that.
yeah, they
It's
are.
not. You can't. We can't help each other on it.
No,
It's something you've got, but
To
you can
do yourself.
do yourself and
Yeah.
figure it out.
yeah,
But from that, like, I've had to do this a lot recently because I'm on a TV show now. I've been doing this like 14 months. Something that's coming out probably in the next 3 or 4 months. I'm doing the final recording for it this weekend coming. Now, I didn't realise, because we say, like, you know, I am titanium and everything else, but what I've realised on this journey, there's been surgery involved with this. Surgery always puts me back in recovery. And I didn't realise, on the lightheartedness of it, of the light work I was having done, I've spent more dark moments now, probably in this, since 2008 and 9, you know, like them crucial 2007 till maybe 2010 or whatever. I spent just as much dark moments now with all the PTSD that's still there, but you've just unearthed it. Because
do you feel like these are like little reminders of all of that?
Little reminders that it don't
trauma.
actually, the trauma, it doesn't actually leave you. It doesn't leave you. So you're sitting here now, and I've realised, like, I literally sat there many times and even like cried on my own in recovery because I feel so alone. Where normally loneliness is my best mate, but surgery has a different effect to me because surgery takes me. When I'm physically recovering, I get scared that I can't do it again. So like I'm fighting back always.
The thing is, you're going through such a tough battle, like with all of that, all of them years you spent through all of that journey, like that ain't for the faint-hearted. And if the least that you told me that you cried, like I'd be thinking, is that the worst that you did out of the whole thing? Like,
oh yeah, man, I'm an empathy guy. I've cried many times in my life up till this day. Do you get what I mean? I'm not afraid to let my emotions out at all.
Mate, I'd be all over the place if I went through what you went through. So
yeah, like I said, hence why I've been in some dark times. Crying is just crying, isn't it? Like, that's a release. I've done that millions of times. I ain't afraid to say that. I will cry if I need. I'll cry watching a movie. Do you know what I mean? I watch a love story and cry. I don't give two hoots about that. I'll do that, but just this last 14 months is the only time in my life where I've had a wobble, if that makes sense. I'm not wobble in a bad way, but it's brought back some old things, like, and I didn't think it would, but I think it's been another bit of a battle. That's what I say. I think God's just built me for battles, and I don't know what I would do if my life got better after this.
do you reckon they're reminders?
I thought, yeah, could be. I don't honestly know. This is what I say. I don't know if God's trying to make me the strongest soldier on this earth or what He's trying to do here. Do you get what I mean? I really don't get that. I don't get what the
Being tried and tested.
Yeah, how many times? Like I've been through all that. Why do I have to be? You know what I mean? A little bit of surgery now should be like, for all I've been through.
Yeah.
It should be easy, but it's not. It's affected me, and I've still got a little bit of a road left, a few months of some surgery. But I'll be glad to get to the end of this now because I want a time where I'm not actually doing anything. Do you know what I mean? Because I can't keep doing that recovery because that's, to me, that's a trigger or a bad place. I don't want to keep going back to it. But now I'm doing it voluntary.
You're looking great though, by the way. I mean, as I say, like, I keep saying it, but after what you showed, you showed me the before photos before the episode, and the transformation is absolutely incredible. So, it's definitely. But maybe there's that. You going through this might be a little bit of a reminder of that the good stuff that you've been doing as well. About the helping other people, the body shaming part, the journey. I don't know where you're at with your foundation, but maybe that needs a little bit more of a push as well. Who knows?
Yeah, well, do you know what? The foundation ain't no longer because we had a team and we didn't do. So I just went back to being me. I just changed all my accounts back to Terry Dunnage, and I just think I'm my story. Do you know what I mean? I had a team of people, it didn't work out.
and I'm the one that wants to inspire, and I don't want paying. You know, like I understand when you build a team, everyone's got to get paid. I just want to do what I do because I enjoy it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it means a lot to me.
Rather than it being a business or something.
Yeah, I don't want a business. I don't want to be a charity. I don't want to answer to like charitable, like, you know, because there's a lot involved with a charity. You've got to keep with the government. What you know, you have to raise
compliance, red tape.
Yeah, red tape. And I just wanted to give something for nothing. So hence why I would do the things that come here today. If I can do any little thing that helps people, and if they take one piece of my story and it helps them in one way, then it's worth talking about.
Yeah, then it's worth doing. Yeah,
if it's not,
appreciate that.
Then I'm bored shitless of my own story, you know. Do you get what I'm trying to say though?
Yeah,
Because 2007, but I know that all this helps because I listen to things, and some things have happened years ago, but I listen to it and I think, things still inspire me every day.
Yeah, same here. To be honest with you, I totally understand that.
Yeah, like you talking about your addiction, that inspires me. I like to be inspired as well. Because it inspired me to inspire others.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to be honest with you, I think that's the kind of challenge at times is trying to help other people, but then help yourself at the same time, and that's the balancing act. Yeah,
because if you take too much, if you take too much not negativity, but take too much on of other people's stories, you can't give them nothing yourself. So you have to balance it. You have to be inspired every day yourself.
Yeah.
So that you could still inspire, I think.
Got to keep that cup full, innit?
Yeah, 100%. And so I think now, after all I've been through, I just think like, I used to think there was a destination at the end of all of this. This life's a destination, isn't it? You're going to get there and that's going to be the one. Either you're going to be rich or whatever the destination is, or you're going to be rich in love or whatever it is, whatever them riches are. And now I just think that I'm just going to enjoy the journey. And whatever happens every day, it's not about the destination for me. It's just about the journey.
Yeah,
meet you today, be on a building site tomorrow, meet Dave at a building site, have a laugh. Whatever life takes me now, it takes me.
I think I kind of perceive it as there's always another mountain to climb in my head. Yeah. Like there's always something going on where it's like, got to take that next step. Okay, what's the next part of that journey? But you're 100% right. I think it's who you become in the process. It's who you become.
Yeah.
But do you know what, Terry? I've really thoroughly enjoyed this chat today. If I'm honest with you,
cheers. I enjoyed it as well.
It's gone really fast. Really fast. So no, thank you for coming on today.
No, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, pal.
No, I appreciate you having me, man. I really
and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.